Hi everyone, this is Kassie and these are the weekly tarot horoscopes for the week of February 28 to March 6. I always thank you for your support and your kind words, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel and push the notifications bell so that you are notified about everything new that comes up, my weekly predictions, the new and full moon rituals, and more tarot videos that I'm preparing and will post soon. In the comments below you can tell me how your week went and how the energies we see in the cards materialized in your life. If you want to check out last week's predictions, you can find them if you click on the link above. And you are always welcome to join me on my online psychic platform www.kassie.com for a personal and more detailed consultation, and there you can also get 3 free minutes with your subscription. Today we'll be using the cute Kawaii deck. As you can see, that's a very clean deck with simple lines and pastel colors, and it's inspired by the adorable Japanese style that's found in comics. But let's get on with the predictions. For Aries we had the Queen of Wands and this week the Four of Swords. After a couple of really intense weeks, the Four of Swords shows that this week energies are settling down, things are slowing down, and maybe that's a much needed break for you, because you probably need to take a step back and reflect on all those things that happened in the previous weeks and see how you feel and what you want to do from now on. The Four of Swords often represents a pause, and that could be a pause in a relationship or a pause in communications, or if we are talking about professional matters, it can be a few days off that you're going to take or a small break from work. In any case, you will probably feel that you are not ready to act at the moment, at least not as ready and willing as you were before, especially if there has been a stressful situation that has been weighing you down recently. The last few weeks, you have placed too much of your energy thinking about something or someone, and now you need to take a breather. If you want to know how someone feels, if there's been an argument or a conflict with that person, it appears that their feelings now have settled down and they are calmer. Maybe they tried to be the center of attention, and for that reason they may have caused some drama in the previous weeks, but now it appears that energies have calmed down and it will be easier to communicate with them. Something that started between 13 and 22 October may come to completion these days, or a big fight may be resolved eventually, and you may find a solution or a cure for a health matter that was troubling you for a while. Don't forget that the Four of Swords is one of the cards associated with healing, and if you've been sick or someone close to you has been ill, expect that there will be improvement physically and mentally. Astrologically, the Four of Swords is Jupiter in Libra, and that will grant you good luck in communications, partnerships, and social activities. If you need to write an important message or email, this is a good time to do so. This week is also great for beauty treatments like spa and holistic therapies. For instance, if you want to change the color of your hair or to try a new haircut, under the beneficial energy of Jupiter, it will go really well. For Taurus, we had the Judgment, and this week it's the Page of Pentacles. An important message is coming your way, or a new beginning, and maybe last week with the Judgment you decided to close a chapter or to review something that happened in the past, and now you will be busy with the practical aspects of it. The Page of Pentacles is related to the material world, and it's about money, work, your physical body, and your everyday life. So perhaps there's a lesson that you learned from a past experience, and you are now applying that lesson in your life in a way that will produce very positive results. It's possible you will undergo some sort of training, or you will decide to learn something new, to take an online course, or you're just starting to get to know someone new better. There will be progress, but progress will be slow, so make sure that you are not getting too impatient. Pentacles do not like to rush, and the person who's described by this card will take his or her time and will not make hasty moves. That person may be an earth sign, Virgo, Capricorn or Taurus, and they are thoughtful and serious, and if you're wondering how they feel about you, their feelings are positive, but they would like to learn more about you. Their feelings are slowly maturing, but they are not yet mature enough to offer something solid and substantial. However, pages always show potential, and this one in particular shows that given the time and invested the energy, things can get more serious. But it all comes down to how much time you want to invest in this, as it will clearly test your patience. It's very possible that this week you will make plans for a financial investment, or you will start thinking about buying or selling property. Whatever you do, make sure that you are truly ready and don't make rushed decisions. If you're waiting for an important message or a document or a news about a professional or practical matter, you will get them within 11 days. For Gemini, we had the Fool and now it's the Hierophant. With the Fool last week, you must have experienced some freedom, optimism, maybe you took a chance on something or someone, and that required a risk, and maybe someone was upset in that process. However, this week things are getting more serious, more structured, and you may feel that you are more restricted one way or another. However, under this energy, something may become official, a job, a relationship, or maybe you've been waiting for an important document to be issued. Matters of this kind will start moving this week, and even with the Fool, energies in your life were a little chaotic and you didn't like that kind of chaos, expect that now things will get more stable and order will be restored. You may have to deal with a person who's an earth sign, possibly Taurus sun or ascendant, and this person might be a little stubborn, a little conservative, or set in their ways. And if you're wondering how they feel about you, there seems to be a blockage due to shyness or fear of the consequences, especially if we are talking about a relationship that's not within societal standards, and they may not feel ready or willing to pursue it yet. Also, they may have a commitment that you are not aware of, so before you proceed, make sure that this person is really available. Make a note for the dates between 20 April and 20 May, because there will be a very significant event that will happen around that time. Also, on Friday, you may receive some good news about something that will be approved, or you will receive news related to spirituality, education, or a very important ceremony you'll have to attend soon. If you're wondering how something will progress, there seem to be external factors that are influencing the situation. Factors that may not necessarily be within your control, and there might be a group or a community that will influence things and your decisions or another's decisions. Also, there might be someone who will come to you for guidance, or you will feel in need of a guide, a consultant, or an advisor who will come to give you valuable advice. For Cancer, we had the Star and now the Three of Cups. There seem to be good energies around you this week too. The Star you had last week probably made you set a goal, or you were dreaming about something you want to bring into your life, and you know that time will be needed and that it's not an immediate thing. And with the Three of Cups, you will probably want to get other people involved too. The Three of Cups is a card of friendship, and perhaps friends will be involved in your plans, or people you consider very close to you, like close relatives or a community you are part of. There will be good times, laughs, food and drink too. You will share deep feelings with other people, and there may also be a very interesting romantic encounter. Or maybe you will be surprised to see that a friend is making romantic moves towards you, or you are starting to see a friend with different eyes. If you are wondering how someone feels about you, there are loving feelings, attraction, maybe it's a little mixed, a little friendship, a little romantic, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. as you do need to connect with another on a deeper level before you have a more meaningful connection, and there will be growth, progress, and you may decide to eventually take the next step in a relationship or a situation. Wednesday seems to be an important day this week, and there might be an element that will appear and will change things or your perception of something, while energies you're experiencing these days will probably culminate in 3 months' time. Astrologically, the Three of Cups is Mercury in Cancer, and that favors communication, messages, and talks that have to do with feelings. And that's a very good placement for you as you're a Cancer. So if you want to have a serious talk about how you feel or about how another feels, that's a good week to do so. Also, you will be very intuitive and you will be able to easily figure out another person's intentions or how they feel about you. So trust your intuition, trust your gut this week, as you will probably feel that someone retains a lot of information and you won't be able to rely too much on spoken word. Try to read between the lines, and you will, as this placement will make you very sensitive to very subtle energies. For Leo, we had the Five of Swords and now the Ace of Cups. Whatever difficulty you had to face last week, this week is being resolved. Maybe you had a big fight, as that's often the case with the Four of Swords, or something was taken from you and you felt defeated or backstabbed, and energies and emotions were very intense, negative and difficult emotions, anger, frustration, a feeling of vengeance even. But now the vibe's changing and the Ace of Cups opens a door for you, a door that was closed before. Perhaps the conflict you experienced was exactly what was needed to trigger the opening of this new door. So this is also an invitation to try and see things from a new perspective. At times, waters need to get really dirty and muddy, so to speak, before they can become clear again. So this week you can expect an offer, an olive branch, a positive message, or an invitation that will make you feel really good, really appreciated. And although this may have to do with a professional situation, it's more likely that it involves romantic and personal relationships. Aces show rather short time frames, so if you're waiting for something to happen, this ace tells you it will happen within a month from now. The Ace of Cups is a water card, and water is a passive and slow element. That's why this ace is a little slower than the Ace of Swords or the Ace of Wands. If you want to know how someone is feeling, their feelings are romantic, positive, although it seems as if the connection is in the early stages or it's stuck in the early stages, which means there is room for improvement. Expect that things will move slowly and it will be a step-by-step process. One thing you should be cautious about is that this card is at times associated with water problems literally. A leak, for instance, and also with water in your body. Make sure you keep yourself hydrated, your skin, your body, and keep in mind that everything that's near water is favored. Activities near water, for instance, or if you're thinking about buying or renting property near water, it will be a good choice, a good investment, to give you an idea of how things might play out. But basically the Ace of Cups is a sigh of relief after news you will receive. So this week there will be improvement, energies will be positive, and it's all about how you want to feel. This week you will want to make more positive thoughts and feel more positive feelings. A burst of new emotions will make you feel really good. For Virgo we had the Eight of Wands and now it's the Knight of Swords. With the Eight of Wands, maybe you have achieved the goal last week or something manifested unexpectedly very fast. The Knight of Swords is a card of communication. There will be messages, talks, communication about what happened last week, and you may feel the urge to rush towards your goals, which might be good because energies require you to be fast at this stage anyway. But be very careful how you communicate your thoughts, because you may speak without thinking and say something you will later regret. Something that may sound quite judgmental and someone might take offense. Both the Eight of Wands and the Knight of Swords are associated with traveling, so someone may come or leave unexpectedly or very rapidly, and that person may be someone who lives in another city or another country. If you're wondering how someone feels about you, they may be taking some distance at the moment, probably because something happened too fast or too soon, they felt pressured a bit, or they want to think things through, or they gave a knee-jerk reaction, as that's a very common thing under the energy of the Knight of Swords, to act in ways that are not thoughtful. However, there will be some messages, some communication. If there has been a misunderstanding, there might be an attempt to clear the air, so to speak. Developments will be fast. Maybe you won't have the time to think before you react, and you will react very spontaneously, very rapidly. You may have an unexpected meeting with someone, and perhaps you will feel that someone else organized that meeting secretly behind your back, but that's not necessarily the case. If you're expecting something to happen and you are wondering when it will, it seems that between 10 and 15 days there will be progress or change. Don't forget that nights always go for change, and energies and events in your life this week will push you towards change, which means that if you try to maintain a situation as it is, there might be some resistance and opposition from other people. For Libra, we had the Four of Swords, and this week the Two of Wands. The Four of Swords you had last week is a very relaxed energy, it's a pause, it's about taking a step back, relaxing, reflecting, drawing your energy in. However, life never lets us remain idle and still for too long, and that's the case with the Two of Wands this week. Because you will be presented with two different options to choose from, and that could be related to your personal life or to your professional life, and life will actually push you to make that decision. Life will push you to move forwards one way or another. Now with the Two of Wands, there might be struggles in a relationship, power struggles, so if you're wondering how a situation will progress, there might be some contrasts between you and another, as everyone wants to have their own way, and your needs may clash a little with theirs or your expectations, and there might be, I wouldn't say an argument necessarily, but a contrast between you and them about who wins. The Two of Wands is Mars in Aries anyway, and that means you will feel very determined to do things your way, and you may even find it difficult to consider another's needs or expectations, and maybe another person will act in the same way too. Don't forget that Mars always loves opposition and fights, but it's up to you to use this energy for your own benefit and not against you, so that you can avoid fights and arguments, especially if you don't come across as too demanding. If you're wondering how someone feels about you, they feel very attracted to you. Ones are warm feelings, sexual attraction, passionate feelings, but this too shows ambiguity too, which means they may not know how to proceed or what they want, and they may go up and down with their feelings, and one day they feel one way, the next day another way, and that will probably be reflected on their actions, on the way they treat you. With the Four of Swords last week, maybe you came to some realizations, and you can now deal with a situation in a more grounded way. Think about the decisions you made last week, the conclusions you drew, the thoughts you had, and decide what it is that you want for your life. Tuesday may be a day to note this week, as there will probably be some intense energies then, and you should prepare for something very significant that will happen around end of March, beginning of April. For Scorpio, we had the Temperance and now the Three of Swords. With the Temperance last week, something has changed, something has been transformed, or you had thoughts about how to change something and tried some new methods to bring it closer to what you want, a relationship, a professional situation, a financial situation. The Three of Swords is a disruptive energy, and I expect you will decide to move away from something, or at least to take some distance. If you know Tarot, the Three of Swords is a card of separation. However, in my experience, it's always a temporary situation. Yes, it comes with some difficult emotions. You may feel upset about something, about what someone said, or you may feel you're fed up with a situation that keeps repeating. And with the Temperance, it's very possible that you are dealing with something that at times is good, but then it gets difficult, and so on and so forth. And you decide to remove yourself or walk away, or someone else does that all the time, but you always end up returning again to the previous situation. And the problem with that is that you may not be able to move from a certain stage to a new stage. And this week you will feel the strong need to move from one stage to another eventually, and you will feel that you don't want to repeat the same cycle anymore. Something that started between October the 3rd to October the 12th may stop temporarily this week, and that might be related to communication, or there might be a disagreement about something that happened around the time. Now, if you're wondering about the feelings of another person, there are some difficult feelings at the moment, sadness or disappointment, and in order to transform those feelings into something more positive, you may have to discuss some hard truths, but that may liberate you in ways that you do not imagine. The Three of Swords is Saturn in Libra, which means that you won't be overly emotional this week, and you may be called to be responsible for your role in one of your partnerships, personal or business partnerships. Saturn is about getting serious, it's about learning a lesson or giving a lesson. Try to deal with whatever comes up in a way that's disciplined. Wednesday seems to have a particular significance this week, so make a note for that day. For Sagittarius, we had the Strength and the Eight of Wands now. The Strength is an energy that makes you hold back a little, and that could be that you were holding back your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. So you or someone else around you may have been very cautious about doing the right thing in dealing with a certain situation. There's not much sharing under the energy of the Strength. That's because the Strength is the moment when you are using your strengths, your power. You are getting your power back. And maybe you were building up momentum in a very controlled way, but this week you will go full speed ahead. Something will manifest very fast and in a way that you are probably not expecting, and that may have to do with someone who will arrive or who will go unexpectedly, or you will decide to do so, an unexpected trip for instance, because the Eight of Wands is strongly associated with movement, traveling, or you will suddenly achieve a goal in a way that you do not anticipate. Something that was blocked last week and you thought you wouldn't be able to get it, but now suddenly doors open and you are able to move forward very rapidly. You may receive an unexpected move from someone, an unexpected gesture, especially someone who appeared to be very guarded before. If you're wondering how someone feels about you, they have strong feelings and they are now going to take action on those feelings. So if you've been uncertain about them, this week there will be actions and developments and signs that will clearly show you how they feel. Events that happened between 23 November to 2 December may come to a very unexpected conclusion this week, while around weekend is when you should expect the culmination of the energies of the Eight of Wands. Astrologically, the Eight of Wands is Mercury in Sagittarius, and that means you will turn your eyes towards the future, and you may even find it extremely difficult to stay in the present. You will be thinking about your future plans, and that's okay, as long as you don't forget that your current decisions and actions is what will bring those plans into reality. For Capricorn, we had the Five of Cups and now the Five of Wands. It's interesting that you keep getting fives, Capricorn, and fives represent stages that show us that change is needed, and that's because they come after the stability of force. It shows you are in the process of changing, a process in which you will have to incorporate in your life new elements. But since fives are a little chaotic, that might not be too easy, as there might be something you need to sacrifice or something you need to let go. Fives often show that something's missing or something's lost, but the Five of Wands is a very different energy. It's a very active card. It will push you to take action. It will make you a little competitive too, and you may have to deal with someone who's competitive as well, and you will be battling over who gets their way. The Five of Wands traditionally shows power struggles, and you may feel that someone does things intentionally to upset you. That's not the case though, because they may feel the same about you, that you are doing things to get them to give a reaction or to make them upset, and things may get a little heated this week. If you're wondering how someone feels about you, there is attraction, they feel drawn to you, they like you, but there's also something between you and them that needs some attention, in the sense that there might be a push-pull situation. In any case, there will be developments this week, so if things have been blocked or slowed down, now there will be some changes and forward movement. The Five of Wands is Saturn in Leo, and that means you may find that someone in your personal or professional life is trying to control or to direct your actions in a way that serves their own interests and not necessarily yours. And it's very important that these days you get in touch with your deeper needs, because there might be a tendency to suppress those needs or to deny yourself certain pleasures, thinking that you should push yourself as hard as you can at this stage. And that's okay if, for instance, you want to lose weight or to exercise more. You will need that kind of discipline, but make sure you're not too harsh on yourself. Thursday will probably be a significant day this week, as that's when the energies of the Five of Wands will be culminating, so keep yourself centered and grounded so that you channel the best of this energy and not the difficult aspects of it. For Aquarius, we had the Ace of Swords and now it's the Five of Pentacles. Last week maybe something happened that made you feel strong again, and maybe that was triggered by a message or a talk, and maybe you decided to deal with something in a way that was more logical and less emotional, or maybe you came across as too strong and someone was disappointed, or they did not expect that, and with the Five of Pentacles maybe you will feel that you are missing something, or something isn't going the way you want it to go. Now the Ace of Swords is communications basically, and messages, and there might be a misunderstanding this week, so make sure that you communicate very clearly. Don't beat around the bush, say what you mean clearly so that it doesn't leave room for doubts. If you're wondering how someone feels about you, there seems to be an imbalance because they feel left out in some way. So maybe you did something that you did not include them, or you are the one who feels that way, that they did something and they didn't include you, and there might be a dispute. One thing to know is that at this stage, energies are not really aligned between you. You are not on the same wavelength, and that's why there's such a high risk of misunderstandings. The Five of Pentacles is called worry, and you may have a tendency to worry a bit too much this week. But there's no need to worry so much about a situation, especially one that you cannot control, as the more you will try to control it, the more it will resist you, and you will end up being controlled by it in the end. And that's not what you want, of course. The Five of Pentacles is Mercury in Taurus, and that means you will read everything through your five senses this week. Your thoughts and decisions will be very strongly determined by how you feel. Your communication style may be slow and measured, and other people may get a sense that you are quite deliberate in what you do. You will think things carefully and deliberately. This week you may plan something significant for the time period between 21 and 30 April, while Friday appears to be a significant day for this week. For Pisces, we had the Knight of Pentacles and now it's the Two of Pentacles. There must have been some developments, some progress last week, maybe a little slow, but developments definitely brought you forward in a way that this week you will probably have to make a decision. And you may try to juggle two different situations for a while, to try and maintain two different energies, and that could be two different people in your life or two different options in an attempt not to make a final decision. And that can work for some time, for a couple of weeks or so, but you won't be able to make it a long-lasting situation. At some point you will inevitably have to make a decision that can be avoided. Pentacles point to money, career, and the material world in general, so perhaps your decisions will revolve around those areas of your life. If you want to know how things will progress, much depends on you and what kind of decisions you make this week. If you procrastinate and you try to maintain a status quo that isn't really working for you, you may not see much progress and you may even feel stuck. So it appears that first you need to decide what you want so that you move in that direction. Don't expect others or life to make a decision for you, because it will probably be a decision you will not like. In 2 months' time, there will be a very significant event. That may be something you are planning for a while now, and there might be a more decisive or final move then. If you're wondering how someone feels about you, their feelings are getting stronger, as Pentacles do show progress. It's just that things are moving a little slow, and the situation may be testing your patience a little until it develops. And there might be some twists and turns, and that's what the Two of Pentacles is all about. It's twists and turns, and at some point, if you make a more decisive step, that will help you achieve greater balance. Expect that in around 2 weeks from now, you will feel that things are getting more solid, and you will also be able to trust more, not just the person you're dealing with, but also the process of life itself. We have a very interesting new moon in your sign in a few days, and soon there will be a video that will show how to tap into its energy. You will be able to see it if you click on the link above. So these were the weekly taroscopes for the week of February 28 to March 6. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will see you next week. Have a fantastic and productive week.